ends at the physical level.
Also, for example, a client comes to you and says, I have an acquaintance and I want to do this and this to him. How do you impact that person if you basically haven't seen him yet?
Well, I don't do such things anymore. When I used to do it, I did it through demons.
Do you need a photo, a name, or something else for that?
I definitely needed a person's photo, and in the rarest cases, I had to hear his or her voice. I could call a person on the phone as if I had the wrong number, and it was enough for me to hear his or her voice.
When you have a person's photo, hear his voice, and let's say you know his name, do you form some kind of image of this person?
I catch his energy trail. It is such a thing, invisible thread. I mean, I visualize this person, his image, his mental imprint. I visualize a thin thread from him to me, an energy channel. And I already shove or tie into this channel whatever I want. If we consider it associatively, that's what it roughly looks like.
So you find a person somewhere in the world of energies?
Yes, sort of on the astral plane.
Does he feel anything at that moment? What do you think?
Well, he may have a flush or a fever, or a person may stumble suddenly or begin to wander in speech. This can happen. When you work through dark forces, a person often wakes up at a certain hour during the night. While working with a person, it is especially done on holidays, because on holidays, a person usually drinks alcohol. On the New Year Eve or on the 8th of March. And you purposely wait for these holidays in order to weaken his energy, to weaken his natural or ancestral protection and begin to work on him.
So when a person is drunk, he...
Yes, definitely.
Does the amount of alcohol matter?
Sure. If a person is drunk, he sleeps. He has no control over himself. He loses awareness. So he's already vulnerable. Basically, alcohol lowers vibrations instantly, then it is easier to work. It is easier to attach an entity, and it is easier to take possession of a person's mind.
Does it mean that it's more difficult to influence a person if he keeps his thoughts in purity?
Yes, absolutely. When faced with various religions, it is very difficult to influence Muslims. They are in a constant connection with the egregore. They do namaz every day and read prayers on a daily basis. They are constantly under some kind of a dome, so it is very difficult to influence them. When you start impacting a person, he begins to address in a prayer. Indeed, many of them are very different from those who come to church only when everything is bad in their life. They come to pray, and then for 5 years they forget about God, some canons, and so on. Muslims, as a rule, passionately believe and passionately give energy to their egregore. And this egregore protects them very well. That's why it is very difficult to work to make any kind of influence on a true Muslim believer.
Is this some kind of a good egregore?
Well, for them, yes. This egregore is good for adepts who contribute good energy to it.
How do you sense it? For instance, you have found an energy trace of such person. What's next? Do you try to drag him somehow to visualize this thread and you fail? Or how do you do that?
It disappears. I cannot get a grip on it. I focus on it, but something immediately knocks me out of the flow, just like that. Or I visualize a person in front of me clearly and can affect him even at a mental level, but some image is not created in my mind at all. I even look at a photo, reproduce an image, but it vanishes from my mind. Thus, I can clearly see that a person is covered with something.
Does this only work with Muslims?
It does for me. Nowadays, there are very few people among Christians who truly believe.